session is just talk you through what the process is. Even when you come to them month after month after month, it's good to just reset ourselves and understand what are we doing. Now, for clarity, this is a designed process that the facilitator sticks to very, very precisely, because we are working on specific coaching skills. When we learn to coach, you all gone through training, you all get that you're not to give advice, that you've got to actually start to trigger thinking. However, the advice still comes up in your brain. And what I also notice is that the urge to get into a coaching session and start diving into, okay, what is it you want to work on today? Got it, thanks. Now let's get you heading towards trying to solve the problem. And to elevate your skills, you need to step back from that. So the focus is really on helping to trigger people's thinking at a deep level. And more importantly, recognizing when you have triggered people's thinking at a deeper level. So we take the group through multiple steps. Now, you may not have done it, but it does say in the prep work when you register for the session that you're all asked to prepare a case. So you get the best out of this if you allow your brain to do what it can do. So we will take one person through their case, their situation. This can be anything that they want to get some fresh thinking on, some help with their. So it could be a problem you're having with a client. It could be a problem you're having with your business. It could be something about your life that you just want to be different. Doesn't matter. You think about it and you think about, what is it I need from the group? What's the help I'm looking for? The group must then go through the process and follow where you want to go, your agenda, not them jumping off and going, oh, I know what she needs. Let's go fix her. Okay, so we have to kind of practice staying online. Now, our sole objective is to help the person we're focusing on get a breakthrough or get some fresh thinking. Now, the reason we ask you all to put down a case of your own is because if you do that and consciously tell your subconscious, whilst we're going through this process, please work on my case, then that will happen. And you will find by the end of the session, you will start getting some ideas about your own stuff that you put in there. Okay, so we're really going to leverage the capability of your brains. The process runs for about an hour. So we have a few minutes beforehand to just warm you all up. And then we have a few minutes to wrap up and capture the learning at the end of it. Let me just explain the process. The first part, which is the hard one, we get the case owner we've selected to present their situation, just briefly, 2 minutes. Yeah. What's going on? What is it they need help with? We then have about 15 minutes of an interactive Q&A. So all of you can just ask a question and the person we're focusing on will just interactively answer it. Now, here's the rules. You must ask questions that trigger fresh thinking. And that's where it gets a little hard. Because this isn't about, are you asking great questions? It's about, did your question trigger some thought? The facilitator's role, today me, is to keep on track of that. Now, I am not, and you can see why this group, why it's ideal to do it in a group of 12. I don't want you putting questions in the chat. We're not going to look at that. I don't want you raising your hand and saying, could I speak? If you want to speak, just speak. And if two of you speak at the same time, figure it out. All right. It's just like being in any meeting. Okay. And this means you get focused. So I'm not going to administer the airtime. I'm going to be totally focused on, are you asking questions that trigger thinking? If I don't think your question triggered thought, I will prevent them from answering. If you ask questions that are data seeking, I will prevent them from answering, because you only need the data if you're the one solving the problem. And we kind of know that's not our job. Right? So this first process will really help you up your skills in terms of being able to create fresh thinking for people. It's frustrating. If this is your first time here, you're going to get really hacked off. And when we get to the end of the time limit, I'm just going to stop. Because what often happens, not so much with groups of coaches like you. You know, we all spend so much of our life listening that when we got a chance to talk, we do. But when I do this with my corporate clients after their learning programs, people just sit there and hesitate. So you have long silences. And then as we're getting towards the deadline, they start to go, oh, but I've got a good question. And when I go, sorry, no, time's up, then they get frustrated. We're doing everything we do here in a specific way for a specific reason. So we're training your subconscious. And on this one, we're helping you get used to just, you hear something comes up from your subconscious, just ask, just call it out. Don't hesitate. Because I've got to tell you, I used to be an active assessor for ICF. And the number of times we would sit down at the end of an exam and say, sorry, you failed. Let me explain why. And in the feedback sessions we used to do, it was very often about, well, your client said this and this and this, and you didn't respond. You didn't pick it up. Now, no coach ever said to me, oh, I didn't hear that. What they say is, yeah, I heard that, but I wasn't sure if it was kind of okay to go there. And you've got to go there. That's what breakthrough is all about. Okay. You don't make a breakthrough with a blunt object. You make a breakthrough with a sharp, laser-focused approach. So if something comes up, you just go there. So I'll highlight what the other sessions are for as we get to them, but for the moment, let's get stuck in and started. So the question is, who is our willing, delighted volunteer for today? Who's got something they'd like to get coached on? And you all did the homework, obviously, so you all got something, right? Mira, okay, that was a fast one. And I'm going to apologize because I can't see everybody on the screen. We've got so many people here. I've got you spread over 2 screens. So, Mira, tell us, you have something in mind you'd like to get some help with?
Yes, Tony.
Okay, perfect. Now, thank you for volunteering. The good news is you just got the easy job.
Thank you so.
Well, all you've got to do is sit there and let us mess with your brain. Yeah. The rest of the guys in the room are going to be the ones doing the hard work. So we're going to start and we're going to just take 2 minutes to ask Mira to just tell us what's the situation, what is it she needs some help with today? And give us whatever contextual information you think is relevant.
Okay, Tony.
Good.
Tony, I'm journeying to become a cancer coach. And in this journey, I'm part of the groups of corporate people who are into HR, who are into leadership, who are into team management, and who have done a lot of courses in psychology. When I get into peer practice sessions with them, I often feel very stuck because I really don't know whether I fit into the niche of the coaching domain as such. I chose cancer coaching because I've been through intense pain. And for me, if I could just help heal women in particular who have gone through cancer or who have been recently diagnosed with cancer, I would like to just be there for them. So that is my purpose. But as far as the wide world of coaching is concerned, I often find myself totally a misfit there in that domain. So I would like to get help in that regard.
Okay, so if I'm hearing correctly, you're trained in coaching, you're looking to coach in a particular niche of the
Yes.
people that have these specific medical problems. And what exactly is the help you're looking for?
One is I do not have a background in psychology, and I do not fit into any of the leadership coaching domains, leadership, executive, none of those. So how do I merge with the other coaches in this journey to be able to work with them? Because most have years of experience, and I stand here without any years of experience in the corporate world, but with a lot of experience about life, about trauma, about pain.
Okay.
But
All right. So you've had your coach training. You know what you're doing as a coach. You're just feeling a little unsure of how you stack up compared to others.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, got it. All right. So, second question, what precisely is the help you're looking to get from the group tonight?
To give me more clarity on how I could embody the coaching mindset, even if I'm different from the rest of the coaches. I want to be unique in my own way, but as of now, I see a lot of haze in front of me. I try motivating myself too much, but somewhere along the way, I feel very disheartened because most ask, what is your experience in the corporate world? I said nothing. So with that, I try to struggle and I try to find a place within this world, but it is a huge struggle and it many times that overwhelms me a lot.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to remove the spotlight so that I can see everybody on the grid. Now, we're going to have 15 minutes of asking questions. Can anybody remember what's the first question that I love you to ask? Heidi, yes.
What are you not telling us, or what is it that you haven't told us yet and that is important for us along those lines?
Yes, very close, very close. Okay, write this one down, everybody, because next month I want you to be the first person to leap in and ask the question. Very specific wording. You would say, so Mira, what's the one really important thing about this that you haven't told us?
I see my purpose as I see a lot of clarity in my purpose, but getting there is quite a turbulent journey.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe what I haven't told is maybe a kind of an unconscious fear that I feel within, a lack of confidence, maybe.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Mira. Now, you can just relax and just answer the questions unless I step in and cut you off, in which case that's because they've broken the rules. So, team, off you go. You've got 15 minutes in your own time. Ask any questions you like, as long as you trigger some fresh thinking. Off you go.
Mira, I'd like to know more of the unconscious fear that you mentioned.
the fear that I mentioned is somewhere a lack of self-confidence comes in, because every time I'm sitting with a client in front of me, maybe unconsciously the fear comes in because I see a lot of experience in that person. I see a lot of the corporate world experience that I mentioned. I see a lot of corporate world experience in that person, and I immediately feel very small. Though within myself, I know that I am unique in my own way. I embody attributes like compassion, love, empathy, and just being my authentic self. But I don't know why this fear blocks me from just, going ahead and getting into the flow of the conversation with the client.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doris.
Thank
Hi,
you.
hi, Mira. This is Richie. Can I ask you if that subconscious fear does not bother you anymore, does not exist? How will you imagine the conversation with your client to look like?
I often visualize a stream with boulders, but the stream is able to move through the boulders and finds its way, downstream, or just finds its way as quietly as possible and as freely as possible. If it's not able to cross over the boulders, it somehow finds its way through maybe this side or that side, but it somehow finds its way and just moves on. That is the kind of calmness that I want to feel. That is the kind of confidence that I want to feel within when I'm sitting in front of the client. I don't want to see the fear factor that stops me from being a coach. I would like to see the client as a person and as what she encompasses within herself. But there's a haze there, and I'm only seeing what the person brings forth as, a corporate person, as a HR person, as a leadership person. But I'm not able to separate that who of that person. That what actually frightens me really, really kind of, overwhelms me.
What's the relevance of your client's corporate experience to the value you can co-create together?
I try very hard to go into the belief of the person, to go into the perceptions of the person, but this kind of block within me that that person is
Okay,
higher than
time
me.
out,
Many.
Time out. I'm stopping that one, Jen, before you, because you noticed that was just getting data from it. It didn't trigger thinking. It didn't trigger anything fresh. And equally, the question that got asked before that, technically, in Doris's question, I was thinking, technically, that's not a question that's going to necessarily trigger thinking, but it did. So we want to be watching kind of the reaction that happens as well. Okay, carry on, team.
Mira, you talked earlier about compassion, love, empathy being unique things you can offer. Do you believe this is enough to create an impact with your client?
I'm still a learner in this journey, and I've just started the journey of coaching. So there's a lot more that I need to really, really go deeper into to be able to completely embody. I've just touched the surface of the iceberg, as they say. But I don't know if this fear comes in, I don't know how I will move in this journey. Though I often visualize, like I mentioned earlier, the free-flowing water. I often pray that I get into that state as a coach and let it be purely, client-centric, and I don't focus on the what of the person. But every time I'm sitting with the client, immediately the fear comes that that person seems to be greater than me in terms of experience, in terms of profession, in terms of education, whatsoever. Though I'm also equally educated very well, but I don't know why I'm not able to see my strengths there as the coach, not as a person, as a coach. And I'm only seeing the what of that person.
But Mira, is knowledge what they need from you?
Pardon, and
Is knowledge what they need from you?
Yeah. Can I build on that? Mina, you mentioned that the focus is on the client, not on yourself. So from your experience, what are the most satisfying experience from your client perspective?
several times I tried, when they speak about their problem, in my mind, I'm trying to segregate the who and the what of the problem. But often the what comes there, and that is where I immediately feel overwhelmed. I'm not able to focus on the beliefs of the person, on what the person is experiencing as she's speaking about, as she's sharing her concerns. I don't know why I'm stuck in that place as a coach. And they
When
see that, and they see that hesitancy in me. And immediately I don't know what happens. And
Mira, what
When you were
change
stuck,
are you
your client got stuck, or the client continued to share and you are able to flow with the client.
the client continued to share, but I'm stuck, and my presence is, I get very distracted because, this kind of fear comes in. Many times I just sit down and I just take a deep breath before the start of a session. But somewhere in between, when the client is speaking of a problem, especially organizational problem, management problems, I'm really, really stuck because I'm not able to go beyond the what and look at the who and what the person experiences while she's sharing this with me. What she feels, what her beliefs are, and what she could shift around the beliefs.
Mira, if I can invite you to take a step back and wear your creative hat, what would you do to change this belief?
I really don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. Though I'm really trying my best, I don't know.
Mira, what made those wonderful experience the clients coming to you?
Could you kindly repeat this question, please? I couldn't.
What made those wonderful experience the clients coming to you?
I've had some very beautiful experiences from many clients, the peer coaching sessions, and they have found a lot of positivity. They have found a lot of energy and enthusiasm that they would like to take with them at the end of the session. Barring a few of the clients who have just told me on my face that you don't know how to ask questions. What are you asking about our beliefs? We are talking about the problem and how we could manage the problem. Don't ask about our beliefs, so don't intrude into our private space. And it really, really pulls me 10 steps backwards.
Mira, it's Stephen. In relation to those great sessions that you got a lot of satisfaction, your client got satisfaction out of, what was different about those sessions, do you think, and how you felt in those sessions compared with the ones where you weren't satisfied?
Thank you, Stephen, for that question. I relate a lot with energy. And intuitively, I don't know why this intuition works very deeply within me. When clients have come, I intuitively sense that this session will go well. I cannot explain, but it has happened. And at all those times, the session has gone on beautifully. The clients also have resonated with that energy, and they have taken with them a new perspective, or they have looked at the issue with a new lens. But certain clients, as soon as they sit down in front, there's a kind of I'm holding back. I don't know why I feel that way. And the session is really disastrous in terms of, like I mentioned earlier, they just on my face say, we are closing this session. We don't like the way you question. We are not interested in our beliefs. We are interested in how we manage the organizational problems.
Mira, I'd love to ask you a different question. This is Barbara. I'm
Hi,
hearing these diverse things about clients. I'm curious, how do you go about finding the client that you enjoy?
I don't specifically find a client. They just put it up on the group that they're available for peer coaching. And I just check the Calendly links, and that's how I'm able to connect with them for the peer coaching sessions. Most of them, the experience has been very, very nice. Like barring a few, I don't know, when they come and just sit down and they just speak about, that I am a leadership thing. I've held so many meetings. I am that kind of tightens me up completely. Maybe I think the chemistry call, maybe the introduction about them, that is what, as I'm sharing with all of you, I think that kind of tightens me up completely.
Mira,
And
I'm just
not able to
curious,
forward.
what makes you feel that you couldn't pursue other clients, other opportunities?
Oh, Barbara, is that thinly disguised advice?
Ah, not phrased correctly. Well caught, Tony.
Yeah.
How could you go about finding different clients?
Different rapper, same advice.
I don't have a choice now because I'm journeying to complete my 100 hours. So in the group, I just click on the link, and all those who are available, I just approach them and connect with them. Maybe I think as I'm sharing with you all, I think when they speak about themselves, that is where some are very comfortable, some are very down to earth and humble. But all those clients who have just told me that I don't know how to ask questions, I think all those clients, as I'm just thinking, all those clients come as people who just say that I've done so many years of coaching, I've done 500 hours of coaching, I've done this, I've done that. Just now I finished a meeting with an international client. I think that kind of, frightens me, and I just get stuck. I didn't think of this earlier, but I think that could be the root cause of my own fears.
Mira, what is your relationship with authority?
I didn't get your question, Cupid.
What is your relationship with authority or people in power?
Yeah, it has been a long-term fear of people in authority. Yeah, you just struck the chord.
Would you like to tell us more?
Maybe it stems from my childhood. I know I should not speak about my past, but maybe it stems from my childhood, a very dictatorial approach towards me. And I would just close everything and just sit down quietly in a place.
Okay, thank you, team. That is time
That
up.
was a very, yes.
So now at the end of each segment, well, the first couple of segments, what we like to do is help your brain build some patterns, because we all think we've got absolutely brilliant questions, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So without any mental effort required, we now just ask Mira to tell us which questions triggered some fresh thinking for her. Mira, we don't want to know what the thinking is. We just want you to reflect back and just highlight which of the questions triggered something for you, if you would.
I think the last question really triggered a very deep chord in me, because it went back to my childhood memories where I often would be frightened with dictatorial kind of attitudes. And when she asked about authority, I think it just kind of something happened within, and I think I carry that pattern till today as a coach. And as soon as people talk about authority and positions, I think I immediately go into a kind of a shell. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, now we're going to move to the next segment. Now, for most of the coming segments, Mira, if we were physically in the room together, we get you to spin your chair round so that the group can discuss without talking to you. What we'll do is like keep listening, allow us to mess with your brain, but just turn your video off until we call you back in again. So you just relax and listen, and that then takes away the temptation for them to talk to you. Because the next section we're going to do is called Office Gossip. My favorite, your favorite, you're all really good at this. So let's not pretend we're not. The rules are, you must say anything and be completely outrageous if you think it'll help. And Mira promises not to take offense at anything. So what we're trying to do here is get us as the coach and her outside of the boundaries of what we think we know. You'll all have noticed by now, I guarantee if I were to ask each of you, what's the conclusion you've come to about what you've been hearing? What's the advice you think she needs? Something's forming for every single one of us. That's just being human. That's the way we work. However, if you want to be really effective, you've got to be able to break outside that and not just break the client out, but as the coach, step outside of those boundaries. Because if there are areas or questions you could ask on the other side of the boundaries and you don't see the boundary and go beyond it, you won't ask the questions that are really going to lead to the breakthrough. So to raise our awareness of that. So let's say we've got 37. Let's go for an initial 5 minutes of just, no, I'm feeling generous. 10 minutes of gossip. Just chip in your own time. And the question is, what do we think's really going on here?
I think in the future, Mira is going to able to choose her own target audience. Then her purpose is to coach cancer patients, cancer clients, or who have gone through trauma. So those clients who are in that phase of life, they can be like just human to human. The experience or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right. Because they won't be sitting there going, I've got a PhD or I've got a C-suite job and all that stuff that she's getting.
So the issue will dissolve itself if she can target and find her clients. Yeah.
Do you think she's just got to kind of man up and deal with this bunch of ATAS characters?
Well, I think she can sort of, now that she's understood that it is the fear of authority, maybe she can explore ways of dealing with that and and like the previous speaker said, she doesn't necessarily have to go into the niche of coaching C-suite executives, but she'll be able to learn how to handle when she does get bombastic or egoistic clients.
And she needs to maybe appreciate that she's learning every session about herself and her confidence, and the fact that not all coaching sessions are going to come out with a breakthrough. Yeah, some of them are difficult, and it does make you reflect on yourself as well. So a lot of rich stuff coming out of those sessions, even though she may think that she's not dealing with them as she would like to.
I think that recognizing the authority issue might allow her to give herself permission that she can get coaching hours somewhere other than from peer coaches. She wants cancer patients, do some volunteering work go to a volunteer, go into her audience, see
Yeah,
how
so
it
that,
goes.
so Barbara, I was wondering about that. Yeah, I'm not sure if I missed something. Like, it sounded like she talked about 100 hours. It sounds like she's on a training program, which says you've got to get 100 hours, presumably, to go and get your ACC or something.
Mm.
Yeah, like why are they only coaching other coaches?
That was what I didn't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Because peer coaching is extraordinarily transactional if you're in the wrong group, because the people are
yeah,
only there just
yeah.
to get their hours. There's no interest in anything.
Exactly. It's like all that stuff we see on Facebook, isn't it? Where like, I need to find 500 people so that I get my PCC hours. Like, guys, coach a real person with a problem. Don't
Yeah.
coach other coaches, right?
Just
Yeah,
don't grow
because
with that.
the only problem the other coaches you're going to do peer coaching with is the fact that they don't have their 500 hours yet either. Yeah, interesting.
I think Mira will get a very good gift of learning because she has more appreciation on how she handle fears once she get a breakthrough. And for the cancer patients, they will be a similar fears, but maybe fears of the disease. That would be a very powerful, very powerful energy from herself that she can offer to her coaches.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
it's more about the awareness of not the how she actually connected whatever is said or whatever is said that is actually affecting her confidence. So the connection, being aware of this connection, will actually help her to find the root cause, as she has mentioned, how to deal with them, and then how to come out of it. Because I think the way forward is not clear. I think she recognized that there is certain connections, but she doesn't know what to do with the connections. So now we have gone deeper. So the next step is what is it that she can do to help her to disconnect or to actually recognize that there is a way forward for her, and that's what she can do for herself. Yeah.
She needs to understand that it's all about the client, and she should not put forward, she should not respond to how she is feeling. She has to put herself, in the backside. She cannot let her feelings about the client or what the client is saying affect her.
I also noticed that she always compare herself with other people in this field. So I think it's better for her to relax and enjoy with the beginner mind, not the position, move the focus that this is the new journey and enjoy her journey as a coach to help other people, something like that.
I agree with Jade. Yeah, she compares what she doesn't have with someone who has something, but she has tremendous experience in like going through trauma or pain, etc. That's what she has.
Yeah.
She can offer that to the world, people who need her. Right?
Well, I agree with both of you. I'd love to see her not coaching someone who is not a coach, because she's comparing herself to an audience that's not her audience. Go be kind to herself. I think she's being really, really hard on herself.
Also,
And
I think it's a very
sorry.
sensitive, she must have gone through this trauma. It's very sensitive. It's very close to her heart. And I feel to be an effective coach, you have to get away from your heart also a little bit. So I think Mira may need to learn how to sort of step out of her own box if she's to help clients.
I also feel Mira should look a little bit more into her strengths than her weaknesses. She keeps talking about haze and the struggle and everything, that it's sort of taken over her entire system and focus about coaching itself. So rather than focusing on that, I think if she took a step aside and started focusing on the strengths, maybe that would help her to move a bit forward.
I see this beautiful person in front of us who wants to help others, but having this past trauma troubling her. And if I were her, I would say thank you to those coaches, and the biggest breakthrough for Mira probably potentially could be realizing that trauma still stays with her and find, avenue to work on that, because I think that would be really helpful.
I also noticed that when she discuss about the authority, that she has no skill for management, leadership or something like that, and she lose the focus and concentrate. We, the coach, can help other people, even we don't be the cancer or the trauma or something like that, or the best football player, but we can help them, not experienced by ourselves. We are not to be a cancer patient or trauma, but we can help them.
And I want to tell Mira that true clients will never say something like, "Oh, we don't know how to ask a question," because some of the true clients will say, "Tell me some advice," directly. So yeah, just leave those coach clients maybe for a moment. Yeah.
So maybe she needs to tell her clients what they need to expect in the conversation. If the client is looking for advice or counseling, then it's lost. It's a lost cause.
Maybe Mira can use, as she goes into that peer counseling or peer coaching sessions, maybe she can use these hours that she spends with those people and allow that to build her confidence and help her overcome this. So she can start trusting herself a little bit, and she can see, maybe also become aware of the different type of coaches that are out there. And she said she has great clarity and great compassion, and she knows what she wants and the type of women particularly that she wants to coach. But maybe it also helps for her to see what she's not like and to grow in that confidence, and for her to really know what is the right client for her, what is the right type of conversation that she needs to have with them, and so that she can connect on the frequency that she obviously does very well in. So
I also think that, yeah. Tony?
Go on, one last comment.
Okay. Yeah. I just thinking about that. Mira should share the journey with other experienced coach, that when we start the journey as a new coach, we have fear, we compare with any person, but it's the learning journey, and everyone here faced with that kind of situation. And I think for sharing this, our authenticity will help her too.
Thank you. And final point on that one, I just wanted to add, going back to Stephen's point earlier, we also detect there's an element of attachment to your performance as a coach. It's one of the things as you move up the levels, you've got to let go of. The one thing that will guarantee your client won't get the breakthrough in the session is if you're really focused on getting a breakthrough in the session. Yeah, it's very zen, but you have to kind of let it go and let it flow, and then it will. Okay, awesome. So thank you. Well done, everybody. You proved two things. One, you can gossip. Secondly, did you notice how the advice each of you is dying to give her was just starting to emerge from what you were saying? We now have a room full of advice. And we know we're not allowed to do that. However, you can use advice. So we'll come back, not the next segment, but the last segment, to showing you how to deal with that. The next piece we're going to do is, again, helping with shifting perspectives and helping you see it from another angle. So I'm going to be asking you to put yourself in the place, in the skin of somebody in the situation. So you might say, and you always start by saying who you are. So you might say, I'm Mira, and here's how I'm feeling. Or you might say, I'm one of Mira's clients, or I'm one of the people she's doing peer coaching with, or I'm her teacher, or whatever you like. So put yourself in somebody's skin, speak first person present tense, and express how you're feeling. But before we do that, Mira, would you like to just spin your chair around again for a moment? Again, we don't need to know the answers, but just were there any of those comments or observations that triggered either fresh thinking or deeper on your previous insights for you?
Actually, I think maybe the few doubts that the group posed. The first one is why I'm doing a peer coaching with the group. I'm also doing pro bono with the patients at the hospital where I was treated. So that comprises the pro bono part, because I cannot do the paid part because they want a credential coach to come to the hospital. So there I have my limitations at the hospital. Here I'm doing peer coaching with the group because it is easier to connect with the group in terms of availability and in terms of getting
Okay. So let me just hold you back on that one. As opposed to going into the explanations, that's fine. I'm really more interested. Was there anything that triggered fresh thinking for you in any of the comments?
One of them spoke about looking at the client and not looking at her own fears.
Okay, nice.
And there I kind of visualized myself, the person separating from the coach. It's the person who should not be affected. It is the coach who has to just be there neutral and to just listen to the client. That is the clarity I got in from that question.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So you get to spin your chair around again and relax while we mess with your head some more. So for the rest of you now, you can see why I'm training up more facilitators for this group, because we don't have time to have every single one of you go through this next piece. So I'm just going to go with the volunteers for this next one. If you would like to stick your hand up physically, not electronically, because I can't see them all, and just say, hey, can I say something? And I'll just get a few of you to do it so you get the experience. And trust me, our facilitators will be on full stream by mid-year, so we can have simultaneously beautiful sessions going on. So who'd like to put themselves in somebody's skin? Yes, Panyapon.
Yeah. I'm Mira's best friend, and I see a lot of strength from her. She is very sweet person, and she have a very kind to offer herself to support the cancer people. So I would like her to use her strength to overcome her fear and come with the confidence to be a good coach for her coachee, not for the other peers around her. Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Xing.
I am Mira's potential client or client. So I feel that Mira has a very beautiful heart to want to give back and want to help people through the pain that she has experienced. And as a client, I feel that, what matters is Mira's connection and her desire to give and serve. And it doesn't matter what her experience is. Yeah, so to me, that's what is important.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chu, you were next, right? Waving your hand in the corner there.
Is it me? Is
Yep.
it me? Okay. I'm Mira's future therapist. I would love to work with you. Therapy is a beautiful journey. Whether you want to work on it for your coaching or outside of your coaching world, is still a beautiful journey to work on. I welcome you.
Okay, Doris.
Hi, sorry, because yeah. Okay, I'm Mira's friend. Mira, I just want to appreciate you for your compassion, I can sense that desire that you want to reach out to people and help them in that journey of pain. But I was also thinking that it's not necessarily, although yes, that's your niche, that you want to help cancer patients. But I was just thinking, because you are also very compassionate experience in other areas like other pain. So I was just thinking that, how about exploring when you face corporates, just look at them as humans, like human to human. And humans can have all kinds of pains, not necessarily just cancer pains. It could be mental pain, it could be emotional pain, it could be relational pain, it could be parenting pain. So do not let the corporates kind of threaten you. Yeah, because you are a very worthy person, you know, yourself, and you have a big heart to reach out. And the world has a lot of pain, not just the cancer pain. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Doris. Hui Eng, I suspect you were on my second screen, so I didn't see you waving. Sorry about that. I need a bigger computer. So Hui Eng, you wanted to have a go?
All right. I'm Mira's peer coach. And as we do peer coaching, the whole idea is to clock our hours. And when we clock our hours, we are also trying to learn from the other coach what are the good questions to ask. So when I hear how Mira ask question, tendency is that because I'm also learning, I also tend to coach the what of the person instead of the who. So I tend to bring in problems, and I expect Mira to coach me the problem. So it turns out that it's like when my problem is not solved, I would tend to blame the coach. So, but then thinking about it, maybe I also come from the wrong position. It should be focusing on the who rather on the what.
Okay, thank you. And we have time for one more. Priya.
I'm Mira's mom or maybe her coach. Mira, what makes you think that every session should go your way and that every session should be a super success as per you?
You would like me to answer?
No. You just relax and listen. That's okay. Okay, so we're now going to go on to final segment before we wrap up. Now, again, did you notice how much of that was really, we want to give you some advice? Yeah, I ask you to speculate on what's going on, what do we think the problem is, but we transition very easily from what do I think the problem is here to here's what I think you should do. So let's go and have our little cathartic process. Now we have, before wrap up, about 20 something minutes. I'm going to get as many of you as possible to do this. So here's what you're going to be doing. You're going to confess. So I want you to first confess, what is the advice you would like to give her? And then I want you to turn that advice into a thought-provoking question. Because if you give advice, she gets the boundaries of your experience. But if you take the concept and turn it into a thought-provoking question. So the example I think I give you every time, when I'll stick to it because it works, is from your experience, you think, I know, in order to help you with this, you ought to go talk to somebody over in the other office. Yeah, and you name a particular person. What if they don't know that person? What if they don't like that person? Yeah, there could be all sorts of things going on. But if you reframe the question and say, who outside your normal boundaries of communication in the organization might be able to help you, then they will think of something that you don't know. So to help the whole group, confess your advice that you want to give first, and then try and turn it into a thought-provoking question. And we're going to go around the room in the sequence I've got you on the screen. So Pooja, you're first.
Hi, Mira. So the advice I'd like to give you is something that I said earlier, is that your pain still seems very raw. Your desire to help seems very real, and you're still very much heart-oriented. And I would like to give you an advice that as a coach, one has to be out of the box and not in the box. So I feel everything that's being said is being taken very sensitively and hurting you. So I would like to advise you to sort of take a step back and cut yourself off from the pain you've gone through and you felt, so to be able to be more helpful to your clients. How
Okay.
to turn, okay,
How to turn that into a thought-provoking question.
all right. Mira, from the positive and negative feedback that you've got from your clients so far, what can you take on board to become a better coach? To forward your clients' goals?
Okay. Okay, I like that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention for all of you, a really good practice when we go through this segment is as Pooja is giving the advice and saying, yeah, I confess, here's the advice I want to give. See if you can formulate a question. So you get to practice it for every bit of advice that comes around. You'll find it incredibly helpful. What leapt up into my head there was to say, what might change in these sessions if you took yourself out of the equation? Who's next on the screen? Jade. Confess the
Yeah.
advice and then ask the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will try. Hi, Mira. You are a great coach and your clients are waiting for you, for your help. What my advice is, it is better for you to work with your inner self. Maybe you find someone who can help you for that issue, for the pain, for the thing that make you feel like you will have the freedom from the past, from the issue, and it will ignite
So-
your power. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Sorry, forgive me, I'm just going to do it. For everybody else going forward, conscious of time, we need to keep it crisp. So don't give your advice too long. The object
Okay.
here is to ask the question. Just confess that, actually, I just wanted to suggest that you do this, this, this.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we move on to it. So Jade, how would you turn that into a thought-provoking question?
Mira, what do you think you will be if you can handle with the inner pain? What will you be looks like as the coach?
Okay, that was a good one. I would say for homework tonight, have another go at that, Jade. Because the way you asked it carries a presupposition that she has got some inner pain. So it's like you're operating from your assumption. I think there might be a more effective way to ask it that doesn't make that assumption, but still reflects what you heard. Yeah. So you might keep it more open, maybe more a sort of what's going on for you internally that you need to work on. Yeah, that will,
Thank you.
you know, no assumption as to what the problem is, maybe. Okay, let's play a bit more. Who's next? Priya.
So I more or less asked this question. So my advice would be, Mira, every session may not go as per your wish or as how you want it to go. So I would turn that into what makes you think that every session has to go the way you want it to go.
Okay, thank you. Who's next? Callan?
my advice for her is you have to focus on your strength and not on your weaknesses if you want to be a more confident coach. So I would ask the question, what should you focus on to help yourself to be more confident as a coach?
Nice. Thank you. Doris?
My advice, Mira, will be to not to just focus on just wanting to coach the cancer patient part, although that's your niche, but to also actually look at the person as a person, whether it's from corporate background or otherwise. And just to tell yourself that you will just be very open and get yourself into that coaching framework with that person.
Got it.
So the question,
how would you frame
yes,
that?
the question, I don't know. The question would be something like, how would you want to see the person in front of you? How would you want to see the person in front of you, taking aside that whatever corporate background that he or she comes from? Would it be okay, Tony?
Yeah, so you can have a go with that. Yeah, it's another one. I'd say play with that because I'd have to think about that for a moment to find the more open you can get it, the better. Yeah.
Okay.
It may be. Oh, here's a thought. Are you actually asking her what judgments are you making about who your clients need to be?
No, not judgment. Not judgment, because she was sharing about her fears, her lack of confidence. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm asking her to don't be afraid that, just because this person comes in a very a tuxedo suit or whatever, and that sets you back. So just to look beyond all those and then get into that so-called insight of the person. Of course, if it cannot be done in the first session. Yeah.
All right. So what if you asked her, are you actually then maybe you're asking her, what is it that's triggering your reaction to the clients?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, we can play with this. Thank you. Who's next? Anne?
So the advice I want to give to Mira is to find a way to minimize your fear of authority so that your strengths can shine through. So I was thinking the question I would ask is, if you were to choose a character to represent your fear of authority, what character would that be? And what would you do to make that a caricature?
Okay. Nice. Stephen. Sorry, you're still muted, Stephen.
So the advice would be to stop judging yourself on the breakthrough or the lack of a breakthrough. And the advice, the question would be, how would your session feel differently if you didn't have those judgments?
Yeah, nice. Nice. I like that. Okay. Magna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mira. Thank you for sharing your current situation. I think the advice I would give you would be kind to yourself, because you've been too harsh with yourself with the words that you've used. I've written all of them down, and it just comes up to me that you put yourself in this cage of harshness. So I would like you to be more kind to yourself so that you can function at 100% when you're a coach. So the question I would probably put forward in this case would be, what can you do to be more kind to yourself from this point onwards?
Okay, nice. Chen Yang.
My advice will be don't bother with irrelevant people. We cannot just click with everyone. There are hundreds of people dying to meet you in the future. So turn into a question. If you are only allowed to meet your dream clients, what are they like?
Nice. I like that. And Chen Yang, it's a shame we're not still on the old 11 core competencies, because you could use, what was it, competency 7, and go like, I'm the direct communication coach. I love the way you get straight to the point. Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay, Ling, you're next.
Hi, Mira. My advice to you is that you have so much to offer. So build on your strengths of compassion and empathy on actual cancer patients. And if I may reframe that is, Mira, what kind of clients would you enjoy helping the most and will benefit from your coaching?
Nice. Gina.
Mira, my recommendation to you is try to turn fear to flow and focus on coaching. So my question for you is, how can you turn coaches' corporate experience into the resource or energy for them that they can work on their issue?
Okay. Madam Chu.
You're calling my mom. Advice, coaching journey or training to be a coach can be a lonely journey. Find your tribe. Question, who can support you in your coaching journey?
Okay. Heidi.
Hi. My advice would be to put up some boundary lines and not be intimidated by other coaches, and don't be intimidated basically, but to set up some boundaries. And I guess the question for me would be, how would the conversation that you have with yourself in your mind have to change? And what would it sound like if you were to set up some boundaries that you will not allow people to cross?
Hey, thank you. Melanie.
Hi, Mira. My advice is to tell you that rejection is not a reflection of your worthiness, and you should focus on what matters to you and why you started this journey. So the question would be, how does this overwhelming fear that you are feeling tells you about what truly matters to you and is holding you back from being the coach you wanted to be?
Okay, yes. Panyaporn.
Yeah. My advice to Mira is that don't let the fear interfere the coaching. Okay? And my reframe of this advice is how would you coach without the fear?
Yes. Barbara.
Hi, Mira. The advice that I wanted to give was there is more opportunities than peer coaching to get hours. The question that I would propose to you is maybe, how can you use your extended network to brainstorm new people to meet?
Nice. Who's next? Rachie.
My advice to Mira is that I want to affirm you that you actually are a good coach, because there is no perfect coach. There's a good coach is keep learning. So turn that advice around is, what are you learning so far? What have you learned so far?
Cool. Oh, that just sparked a thought, if I can just share it. Sometimes when you're doing that sort of turn the advice, it can help with the question if you give it a context. So it doesn't work with all questions. So that one, for example, you could just specifically go in with how would you say it? Yeah. What have you learned from the negative experiences you've had?
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have the question in my mind, but it's how to fix that. Thanks,
Oh,
thanks for
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're here, right? Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, cool. Shiying?
Hi, Mira. What power and authority do you have in yourself that can see you through your journey to become a cancer coach?
Nice. That's a nice question. So what was the advice that you were hiding there?
Because it sounds to me like Mira puts the power and authority into the dictatorial authority that has haunted her since her childhood. So the intention is to put back the authority to herself because she has experience that's valuable in life as well.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Oh, who have we got left? Okay, so Pui-Eng?
My advice is more on getting her to focus on her, to address her fear. So my question is how you can use the past experience as an asset for you to coach the client.
Nice. Kiati?
The advice is lighten your load of expectations of self and others. And the question could be, what is your relationship with expectations?
Nice. Okay. We have 4 other people who've been off video, so I don't know if they're here or not. Anybody there? Cassandra. Okay.
Hi, Tony. Hi, everyone. My advice, Mira, this clocking of hours with peer coaches that intimidate you is just a journey towards your accreditation, a means to an end. The question for you is, what needs to happen for you to stay focused on your original conviction to be a cancer coach?
Hey, Farah?
Hi, Mira. Be kind and compassionate towards yourself. So my question would be, how would you like to acknowledge yourself in our conversation today?
Okay. Dennis, are you here? Nope. Shalini?
Sorry, Tony. I don't have any advice for her because a lot of what I was thinking has been said already. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. So that is it, people. Now, the one thing, now, we're recording this just so that the facilitators can review it and get trained up, so it won't go out in public anywhere. We do normally, however, turn on the video recording at the end of each session, just to see who in the room wants to just share a sort of thought or experience, or what's your little snippet of how you've enjoyed doing this, so that we can then just edit it down and use it for publicity purposes and try and get millions more people in the group for next month. So that's where we are at. So first of all, thank you for our facilitators for sitting there patiently and doing their learning piece. Before we close off, who in the room would like to leap in and share a thought with everybody else?
Just wanted to thank Tony and the facilitators for organizing this session. I also like to thank Mira for being so courageous and for sharing her issue with us. Yeah, it is actually my first session, so
Okay,
yeah.
okay, good.
So it's
You
been
didn't-
quite like very valuable for me.
Okay, nice. Anybody else?
Yeah. I wish to convey my deep gratitude and a huge thank you for Tony to be able to hold space, and to the lovely group who showed unconditional regard and empathy to take this conversation forward. And I see a lot of clarity in myself now as a coach. And I found some beautiful realizations that I will journal it to take this journey forward. And the last the acknowledgement that I would give to myself is just stay true to my conviction, no matter how hard the journey was.
And if you need some better coaches to do some coaching with, you've got a whole group of them here, I suspect.
Yes.
I would love that.
Yes, just picking up on Barbara's advice there is like, it sounds like you're talking to the wrong people. For sure. Okay, anybody else wanted to share a thought before we wrap for the day?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mira. Tony, that was a great piece of advice that you said, just keep your problem also at the back of your head and try to see how these questions and the solutions could possibly help you tackle your own questions and your own issues. And I think that was really useful, because I actually wrote down my question, and I also get a little bit more clarity. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, yeah, it really does work. It's just so worthwhile. And all you need to do is just a couple of minutes before you log on is go like, okay, what's the thing I want to get coached on? What's the help I need? And just let your subconscious do it for you. Yeah, it works. It works. Brilliant. Are we complete, people? In that case, Mira, you get the closing words.
My deep acknowledgement to you, Tony, and to the lovely group who helped me through this. Believe me, I was really stuck, and I have been stuck for almost a few months. Thank you so much for that, and I convey my deep gratitude and acknowledgement to each and everybody.
Okay, perfect.
Everybody.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. It's okay. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being available and vulnerable. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, people. Now, would my trainees like to just stay back just for a quick 5 minutes after everybody else has left, so that we can just talk a little bit about what happened, and then just refresh you on what we do for next time, okay?
So just a couple of points before everybody signs off. Can we take a group
Oh,
photo?
yes. Oh,
And also
yes.
the QR code for the evaluation, because we need that for your continuing CCEU units.
You are so right. I'm the worst facilitator. I always forget that
No,
stuff.
that was
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
No, I mean, that was
Right.
sorry, I had to burst the bubble a bit, but it's great to also immortalize everybody's rich experience tonight by having a photo, right? So
Hey.
if we could just please turn your cameras on, just so that we can immortalize this beautiful moment. And then after that, the QR code will be flashed so that you could also share your thoughts on how well or the session went, and any, suggestions you also have. And from that, after you complete it, you will receive your CCE units. Okay, so everybody say cheese. So first screen first. 1, 2. And then the second screen. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. And then the QR code, Jade, or could you kindly flash the QR code? Then just
Yeah,
tune in.
moment please, moment
you.
please. Where is QR code?
And can I just ask a questions about the CCEU? For the sessions from last year, if I didn't get those CCEUs, who do I talk to for these sessions?
Yeah, why don't you email it to me? I'll send you a PM so that I could direct the query to the one who's in charge in our team for the CCE units. So Heidi,
Okay.
I'll send you an email address, PM you. Yeah?
Okay, super. Thank you.
Sorry, Anne, can you just
Can you
put
show
your
the code
email-
again? We didn't get the code. Okay, thank you.
And Anne, could you just give us your email address? Because I didn't get my units either.
Okay, okay. Let me just put it on the chat.
Thank you
So
so much.
everybody who wants to follow up. Yeah.
I also send the link for the feedback for the CCEU as well with the QR code. So I will close this.
Is it the same link that you put in the chat?
Yeah,
Is that
it's the same link.
same link for the CCU? Okay.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
stop sharing now. So thank you, everyone. Back to Tony.
Right. Good with the technicalities done. Thank you, everybody. If the trainees can just stay behind for a few minutes, that'd be great. And we'll see the rest of you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. See you
everybody.
next month.
Okay. Is that everybody?
Is choosing.
Oh, right. So yes, Cynthia had to head off for a meeting, so that's right. Okay, so unmute yourself, guys. I just wanted to see what came up from you for